Hey y'all, it's time to chat more about Real Housewives of Atlanta and a little piece of Potomac as well. All right, if you're new here, then hey, make sure that you guys are coming into the video. You're liking, you're commenting, subscribing, doing all of the things to support the channel. All right, first things first, we're going to start with Mia Thornton of Real Housewives of Potomac. We're going to get her out the way, and then the rest of it is going to be more so about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, you guys know that she did go over and sit down with Dish Nation where she talked about wanting to be a part of Real Housewives of Atlanta and whether she's going to leave the door open for opportunity or whatever. So it seems like that is on the table for her as far as her interest. But Real Housewives of Atlanta, from what we know of, hasn't expressed an interest in Mia just yet. At least we don't know about it, right? Well, of course, as she's out here doing her interviews along with other members of Real Housewives of Potomac, she is also asked about Miss Karen Huger, and I want us to check out what it is Miss Mia had to say regarding Karen actually reaching out to her. Let's get into this.
Okay. Well, speaking of the ladies, have you spoken to your former castmate, Karen Huger, since she's been behind bars?
You know, a lot of people ask me this, and I didn't know you can phone a friend in jail.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
I feel like she has to call me, and she's not going to call me because I was very shady towards her. Because I was trying to let her tell the world that she actually was guilty before the world will tell the world, the world she was guilty. Yeah. I've been with Karen. We have gone out. We have been drinking with no cameras. Honey, when I saw that car, I said, just let the world know. You know, you're going to go to rehab and get some help.
You're going to, yeah?
Yeah. And, maybe she wouldn't have ended up in jail. Maybe she would have. But I really feel like there's a little bit of a lack of self-accountability. So Karen will not be phoning me.
Okay, you're not the phone friend.
But if she were to call, I will accept the collect call because that's how it works. Where I don't have any friends in jail, you guys.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know how this works.
Collect call, I think.
Right? But if I would answer, and I would love for her to call me. I would love to send her some money for her books. And I would love to make sure that I get her wig ready for when she comes out.
Okay.
Woo, the shade, honey. The shade. Not me trying to get this lady's wig right. Honey, you couldn't even get your own wig right the way you was hopping up off that stage because you didn't want to be held accountable yourself when you speak on lack of accountability. But I do feel like, Mia's not fully wrong. Like, I do think there was a bit of lack of accountability. I do feel like she was trying to get Karen to be honest about what's what. And Karen wasn't trying to hear it. But I also get why Karen was like that because the case was still open. She still had a chance to be, innocent potentially, honey. I don't know at that time if she knew how much footage they actually had of her or not. But yeah, she didn't want to incriminate herself any further. But honestly, as we saw the past season, girl, you want to incriminate yourself any more at all than what you did on that body cam. Okay, that body cam definitely set it off. If anything, honestly, you being on the show, you could have used that as an opportunity for sympathy. But I think her not being accountable on the show, I think it did hurt her, I will say. Yeah, her just not wanting to accept fault for her to, go into this trial, to have a full trial or whatever the case was, knowing this evidence was out there and then to stand before the judge. Like the judge felt like it was also a lack of accountability. And she's also been in this position before where she's had multiple DUIs, right? And so the judge was just like, you thought that your celebrity was going to get you out of something that is just not. And you're not above the law. And unfortunately, Miss Karen is having to do time. How she's going to come out of this moment, I think she's going to come out returning right back to Real Housewives of Potomac, in my personal opinion. I can see Karen likely giving herself another year, right? I can see her giving herself maybe a 2-year break. I also feel like it may be dependent upon what the money what the money is looking like. Honestly, that's what I'm thinking. If their money is tied up, she might have to hey, let me go ahead and get back out here. But at the same time, I feel like in an effort to escape a little bit of accountability again, to avoid from having the conversations that she doesn't want to have, I could see her like, hey, I just got out of, lockdown. Let me take some more time to myself before I return to the show. Maybe thinking and hoping that the cast won't come so hard at her. But then once she get back comfortable and get her feet back wet on the show, I think she's going to be back to hell. And honestly, in my opinion, I think Karen is going to be back on her stuff, on her grand dame-ish. Is basically what I'm saying. But y'all let me know. What do you think? Okay, how you feeling? Do you think another year would be a necessary break for Karen and she should take that time off? Or do you feel like, no, go ahead and return. Go ahead, come back, face the music. Let's get it over with so we can move past it accordingly. Because I don't know, Karen, you better hope they don't get some new women and those new women sit up there and take your spot. Just a little piece. And not that her spot can be taken, but again, a lot of us thought Nene's spot can be taken, right? And basically the show is still going to go on. Don't let them get a formula that may work for them without you. So we'll see. Best of luck to Miss Karen Huger as she's going through her time, her sentencing or whatnot. Hopefully she's doing pretty well health wise, and we'll see her back out here, talking about the lessons that she's learned and maybe advocating and supporting others to not drink and drive. All right, but y'all leave y'all thoughts down below. In the meantime, I do want us to switch over and get into some other things here, and let me see what I want to tap into first. I want us to tap into Nene Leakes. Okay, I have not checked out her podcast this week, or I guess her show. I haven't checked out her channel this week to see exactly what she's talking about. But I do have to shout out Housewives from a Housewife, because they were able to capture a quick snippet. Okay, it seems like Nene is still having a hard on for Kandi for some fashion. I do not know the reasoning. I do not know the reasoning. Can somebody please explain to me why Nene is still having an issue with Kandi? Was there something that happened behind the scenes? Is it just still like pure jealousy to some people, or just like just a hater, like you don't want to let her live, you don't like the fact that she is successful in her own right beyond the show? Like, what is the heaviness on the dislike for Kandi for me? Like, I still don't get it, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna check it out. So let's hop on over here and see what's going on.
With another couple, I happen to this couple that I personally know from Instagram. We follow each other, and I was surprised to see them, because in my mind I thought that Kandi was the only producer for whatever reason. I thought maybe this was something that she produced and wrote and put together the whole thing. And I happened to see this couple saying we're producers of the show as well. But crazy enough, they're not even getting press.
Well, I mean, we can't take it away from her. No. However, it just seems like she's just using her notoriety to push the show, which is kind of good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
there's like I've heard there's like 10 other producers or something like that.
I heard it was 30. Oh. No, I ain't lying.
Well, I mean, we don't know who those other 29 people are, but at least, Candi's getting the recognition.
Well, she's probably the one that has the most notoriety, so she's being the one that they're using to say that she's the producer on the show. But honestly, I do know this other couple that are really kind of known, but not as known as she is. Yeah. They are known. They are doing their thing.
But I do think it's a big deal, and so I do.
It is. It is a big deal to have a black woman, to be doing anything when it comes down to Broadway. I'm telling you, just us being on Broadway was a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's just
because you were on Broadway, what, twice?
I was on Broadway twice. Okay. With another couple.
All right. So there's that. It seems like it started off with a little piece of shade or whatnot. And I guess it rounded itself out with them acknowledging the fact that it is a big deal for Kandi to be doing this and getting this opportunity as a black woman. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when Nene says that, Kandi's the only person getting pressed, nobody else is getting pressed, I kind of feel like, well, I think it's dependent upon what press are you looking to? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to just the black blogs? Because of course, the only people they may know would be Kandi Burruss. Well, not all of them. You know what I'm saying? Some of them may know other people as well, obviously, but I feel like she might be the one that has a lot of, celebrity. But I feel like there are other people a part of it. There are quite a few people a part of it. But I feel like those people may also already have a history in working with, Broadway plays. So I feel like they may be very well known. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, congratulations to her and Todd at the end of the day, right? I feel like it's a situation of just because they're highlighted, and they're, being celebrated for their success, because this is something Kandi has spoken about and things that she's wanted to accomplish and stuff. And to see them doing it, I feel like they should be praised for that. They should be celebrated, supported or whatnot. And I don't really think that it takes away from the other people necessarily, but I do feel like those people do get attention because when they mentioned it in the like People magazine, it wasn't just Candy's name. I saw a list of a lot of people that were a part of this production. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the press is there. I think it just depends on who you're going to receive the press. They may only specifically highlight Kandi because that may be the only person they care about for real. And for her to go from Real Housewives of Atlanta and people wondering like, well, what's she gonna do next? What else she got going on? Yada yada yada. Well, hey, she's still acting and she has this Broadway play that is very successful at this time. Now, I don't think they got the nomination, from my understanding, for the Tony Awards this year. I think that was something that she wanted. Don't know what ended up happening, but I think that they mentioned that she didn't get that, her and Todd. But I mean, hey, keep trying, keep working at it. I mean, so I feel like she may have been nominated for it before though. But all in all, that's what's going on. Y'all let me know your thoughts and whether you felt like Nene was hating or if she was just giving her opinion, because it is and it should be okay for people to highlight whatever they want, whether it's the good or like, hey, she getting a lot of attention, but she ain't the only one, Let me know your thoughts about that, whether you feel like she was being a bit, I guess, fair or not fair. All right, leave it down below. Next up, I want us to tap into Miss Porsha Williams for just a little bit, okay? Some of the fans have been in their feelings a little bit because they thought this was going to be a really good comeback season for Miss Porsha Williams, and it hasn't been that great. I'm sorry. It's not been that great for her. The fans are really over Porsha after she said what she said about smashing Angela Oakley's husband. Girl, the fans ain't been feeling. They just been dragging Porsha. Now she does have a few fans that still in support of her, still got her bag, right, wrong, indifferent. You know what I'm saying? But some of the other ones, girl, they have been wearing her out left and right. All right. And one, she didn't really say anything too bad, but she did take to Twitter. And once she took to Twitter, this person says that they were so excited for Porsha's return just to see her being so mean and dismissive. This is with love, okay? They don't like that. So Porsha is like, well, I'm with you on that. Too bad you're getting half of reality, and then tells them to go on to check out her YouTube channel. But I also feel like that ain't gonna give full reality either, because at the end of the day, you also gonna show what it is that you want the people to see. Period. Okay. But that's where it is. All right. If you don't like how I'm being portrayed over there, then let me show you a more fun, lighthearted, carefree, whatever Porsha, like come into my life type of thing, right? So that's what Miss Porsha has going on. And, I do question if the timing of her deciding to do her channel, right? Although I do like, do your thing, you know what I'm saying? If you want to do a channel, do your thing, girl. Good for her. But then I'm also wondering, is it because, Simon is in ICE custody at this time, and with him being tied up, I wonder if finances could be potentially tied up. And if they are tied up, and if the house goes for oh so long without having a payment on it, what happens with the home? Does it go into foreclosure or whatever? But all in all, I don't know. But those were just some questions that I have. And I did get a chance to check out Simone with Girl Is That Legal. And we'll get into a clip of some things that she said. But it was a pretty good video. She did go through a lot of the court documents of Porsha and Simon. Because remember, Porsha got on Watch What Happens Live and said that she should be divorced soon, like in the coming week or so. And unfortunately for her, the hearing that she thought was going to decide everything, and I think she was super excited because with him being locked down and them trying to, enforce the prenup, Porsha could leave with a lump sum of money and potentially the home or half of the home as far as if it was sold and her receiving money. But the judge decided to go with Simon's attorney and for an extension, right? So the date has now been changed from, May or whatever, or April at that time. I think it was the end of April. So now it's pushed out to June in hopes that he's able to go to that hearing. He can't do it via Zoom because according to Simone, they don't have the capabilities. And I believe they have the capabilities within ICE, but because ICE and that prison that they're in, it is privately owned, so they don't follow the rules of like the state or federal or whatever. They do what they want to do in so many words, okay? And yeah, his attorney is gonna have to request, I guess, that they bring him to court or something like that. Something's gonna have to happen, and we'll see if that's gonna happen. Isa ain't been adhering to nobody. So with that being said, unless you are that one, hello. So with that being said, she might have to get another extension. If he's not going to show up for the June, I don't know if the judge is going to try to like bring the hammer down and make a final decision with him there or not, or him not being. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But in the meantime, I do want us to check out a clip from her YouTube channel where she and Dennis pretty much, I guess, apologize to each other or whatnot. But let's get into it.
Do you guys still you know what? No, we do not do you know what.
Hopefully the fellas are tuning in. But in respect to her relationships, etc., no, we haven't.
What you mean in respect of our relationship? We do not be bumping and grinding.
I said in respect to your relationships.
I don't have no relationships. Just tell the truth.
She been married.
Clearly, I'm hollering.
So no, we have not been.
Okay, you know what? We have been broken up for 11 months. Remember? Yeah, because remember I told you to bring the ring over that Christmas prior.
Yeah.
So that January, you said you saw him at the airport. Because you said, oh, he
very
stole my...
suspicious. Because I met him at the airport and he asked me about Porsha. Very suspicious.
And he said, oh, he stole my family. Mind you, we had
why is he asking me about Porsha in the airport, walking around the airport?
Right.
I knew something was going on.
But I didn't even...
Did he say I knew something was going on? Bitch, I'm hollering. Because if you wanted him to bring the ring back in December, but then that January... he asking about you, is crazy because he also did a post to Fallon for their anniversary, only to find out I think by March, he tried to say that Fallon was messing around with old boy, as if you wasn't already asking about Porsha and people were lining up photos showing that y'all was already hanging out with each other. That's insane, crazy, and you tried to make it's just, listen, I just feel like with this divorce, I can't even really feel bad because you already saw who that person was. So when he would get online and say the different SHI that he would say to or about you or whatever the case is, yeah, it makes him look whack. But then at the same time, you already saw that energy from him when it came down to Fallon before you even, accepted a ring from this man, and you still went forward to marry him because according to court documents, he's worth $300 million supposedly. Okay, it might be a few million to be able to afford a $7 million home, right? But it's a lot of coins up there, right? But child, that's just terrible. And then the comical thing for me was me seeing Dennis all up in this man's house, in this man's kitchen cooking. When I say I am tickled, I don't know. Now, granted, I'm going to finish this and then we're going to get into Simone, to where she talks about in the court documents where Porsha was kind of, it seems like she was granted to be able to film in the home. So let's check this out real quick though. Let's finish this.
I didn't know him then. Me and him was not dating. Me and him did not get together until May. So anyway.
That's what she say.
He
looking like, girl, like, okay, girl, stick to that story.
In January, when you saw him at the airport, you said, oh, it's a shame I met the man, exchanged numbers, and then later on he stole my family. You and I had been broken up for 11 months. Do you guys still,
now, Dennis, I don't think that you wanted your family. I am going to say that, okay? I don't think that you wanted your family. And she talking about some January, but you didn't meet the man until May. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't believe her. I do not believe her at all.
Been broken up for 11 months prior to me getting with him. And then at that December, before that January, I asked you, I said, Dennis, you know what? Because he kept saying, I want my family back. I want us back together. I said, bring the ring to the house, right?
She said, bring the motherfucking ring back to me.
Okay. Lauren's laughing.
How you gonna tell me bring the motherfucking ring back? Not even.
Well, because I felt like at the time, and you mothers and people would know, I felt like if you want to keep playing around whether we should get back together or not, bring the ring and bring it to the table. We'll get back engaged.
Meanwhile, I brought the ring back to the house every week until that.
No. Well, when you brought it up to that point, you kept doing stuff, and so therefore I kept putting the ring back in PJ's bag, sending it back to his house.
Facts.
So we agree on that.
So then now I'm over here questioning, did the man steal the family? Because he kept bringing the ring back. So now as I'm listening more to the story, it seems like maybe you guys were still trying to figure it out and work it out. You know what I'm saying? Child, that's interesting to me. As I'm reflecting anyway. That's just, okay, girl. That's interesting.
So that December, I said, you know what? No more back and forth. I'm going to work this through with you. Bring the ring. December, he showed up with his little matching pajamas. He was also Santa Claus that same Christmas. And he been broken up for 11 months and not bring the ring. That's when we finally said, okay, quits. But before that Christmas, you can admit, I had touched him prior to his birthday, which was June. Okay? So that means I had not touched you in almost a year prior.
We have a mutual respect and understanding for each other, especially her relationships where we just never even thought about that. Because
thought about what?
Bumping.
Yeah, we don't. Because
she don't even like me like that.
Oh, now he playing the victim. Y'all hear that?
She said on her interview that I seen in the interview on Andy's show, she said that I'm not even thinking about Dennis, and I saw that clip.
What I meant was our relationship for Pilar means more to me than to play in a relationship with you. Meaning, the reason we even broke up is because I
feel like this is a joke. I feel like this is a joke. Your relationship with your daughter means more to you than to play in a relationship with her dad. And I don't fault you on that at all. You know what I'm saying? But I also find it to be very interesting that your relationship didn't mean more to you with your daughter than actually taking the time out to get to know a person before you just start talking to them in May and then get proposed to them within 2 weeks. There was absolutely no consideration for your daughter at all. And I think the best thing you should have did was really just be single. Okay? Or, I mean, date them. You still was gonna get drugged either way from messing around with that lady man or whatever, or ex, whatever it was. But you could have you didn't have to go and marry the damn man. Like, geez, Louise.
never want Pilar to see us arguing. You realize that? Like, I never want my child to see us in a toxic relationship.
Is that the reason we broke up?
Yes, because I was very mean to you after I gave birth. I bring the ring. That's when we finally said, okay, gave birth. After I found out that you cheated, we tried to work it out. I was very mean. I can admit I was a mean. Remember I was.
The first time. Yeah. That's the first time she ever admitted this.
I was mean.
Not fireworks. I'm screaming.
Cheers. Cheers.
I admit it. I was mean.
Cheers.
And I wasn't myself. And I knew I wasn't myself because I had lost respect and I was trying to figure it out, and I was just very mean. And I did not want to be in a household where we were arguing or I was talking down to you in front of our daughter. Cheers to that. Birth. After I found out that you cheated, we tried to work.
So that's what Porsha and Dennis got going on, child. I don't know. It's giving truth mixed with a piece of lie for me. Someone in the comments says, see, this is why Porsha doesn't want Dennis filming with Drew and only with her. She wants to control what he says. Every time he says something that doesn't align with the story, that's because that she's been telling us about her relationship with Simon. She tries to correct him. By Dennis filming along with Drew, Porsha will not be there to control what he says or clean up the story. I kind of agree with that a little bit, because when they start talking about, you know, when she met Simon and stuff, because he like, that's suspicious. Like, why are you asking me about Porsha? You know, at the airport, this, that, and the other. Like, it is giving you trying to assess the situation because you was already talking to her. I don't care nothing about no damn May. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it really, her saying May really makes her look even worse. You know what I'm saying? But, girl, I think she was already messing with that man when she was talking to Dennis just now. Dennis was looking like, why are you gaslighting me? I feel like I'm being gaslit. Like, that's not, like, huh? Like, I know what I experienced. Like, his eyes was giving, I know what I experienced. Like, in this moment right here, the way he looking off, like, huh? Like, I'm going to just let her go. Because, like, I know what I experienced. Child, that's crazy. Let's see. Somebody said she hitting her, she's sitting here having breakfast with this man, being all friendly and SHI, but mad at Drew. Make it make sense. Somebody said, so Simon was asking him about Porsha in January, and Porsha trying to claim that they didn't get married. They didn't get together till May. Woo, child. Somebody said this is morally wrong. Not in Simon's house that he's paying for while while y'all are divorcing. God does not like mess, and eventually He will fix it. And all who needs to be ashamed will be. Why not record in Dennis' home? Child, this is crazy. Somebody says Porsha will constantly overtalk this man so that the truth does not come out always. Even when he was on the show, she never let this man speak. Baby. And I think they're talking about when he was on Porsha Family Matters. She would cut him off. Whew, this is real. This is interesting. Once again, you guys, I am wondering what's up with the house. How are things going? Simone, if y'all haven't checked out Girl Is That Legal's video on it, if you care, I think y'all should, check it out. Because she does kind of explain something about the foreclosure if the home is in foreclosure because money is tied up, whatever the case is, and he can't get stuff paid because he's in ICE. I don't know. But if it was a foreclosure thing, I think she said that there could be some type of paperwork signed to prevent them from selling the home. But when I think about I guess they can prevent the bank, I would think, from reselling the home to somebody else without her getting whatever she may be owed, right, to her. She also goes through the documents of why Simon feels like the prenup should be like thrown out based on certain things. Like she bashed his name on social media, whatever the case is and stuff. And Simone was saying that Porsha should use a part of her defense as him pretty much lying to her and not telling her about his citizenship and things like that. There was a portion where they were saying that in the prenup, there's a confidentiality clause where Porsha can't really say anything negative about him. And, even though it may be the truth, she has said some things. Like, of course, I know he was trying to get her on that ED situation, that erectile dysfunction situation. But aside from that, I also think that it's more than that. Like, she did go on to Atlanta, like Real Housewives of Atlanta, when she sat down with Kenya, and she did give a spiel on that relationship and things that he did or what she witnessed or did not witness. We had the police surrounding us, this, that. I don't know if that's something he would use against her and whether or not the judge would feel like that's valid enough to, I guess, not utilize the entire prenup or whatnot. I don't know what angles he has, but if you guys wanted to check out her video, she definitely goes into details about some things. And yeah, I mean, some part of me, I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out because I believe according to the prenup, Porsha may be able to get a lump sum. I think she's trying to get, her portion from that house. Should that house be sold because it's worth $7 million and likely, I don't know if they bought it at $7 million and it may be worth more than $7 million now, or if they bought the home and it was, he put $2 million and something down on the house. And then it was like maybe it was a $7 million home that he put $2 million down on. Not necessarily sure, but I know that his team is kind of fighting against her getting that portion because they feel like it's unfair because he sold 2 of his own homes and bought that home before she and he were married. And I think he bought it before they even signed the prenup. So he feels like it's not fair for her to only be married to me for 15 months and then she's able to receive all of these things, right? And it was also an understanding that she wouldn't work. So she quit all of her jobs and I gave her an allowance. I gave her like a monthly payment, whatever it was. And then she decided to go back to work, but Simone made a good point about how the Porsha's team could say, well, I knew that it wasn't going to work with him, so I had to go back to work in some fashion. And although I agree with that, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know how the judge may look at some of the posts that Porsha made, right? She signed that agreement with Bravo, I think end of January, early February or something like that, made her announcement, I'm coming back, and specifically said Porsha Guabadia will be returning back to the show, and then turned around and just a few weeks after that decided to file for a divorce. And maybe that's part of the issue too. It could have been the citizenship and things like that, but I kind of feel like Porsha was aware of that stuff in my personal, especially when she said one time they were getting off the plane and they were surrounded by all of these cops, this, that, and the other. I think that as much as she may not have known about everything, because I do think he kept some things from her, I do think that she knew enough, and was still willing to continue to ride the situation out. But also, I mean, we would just have to see how that's gonna play out. But she said Porsha Guabadia was gonna be returning, and who knows? Although it could have been the citizenship that resulted in the divorce and other things like the lies or whatnot, it could have been the fact that, hey, according to our prenup, you said that you weren't gonna work, and now I see that you signed a contract with Bravo. So that's why I'm like, it's so many different things when it comes to these cases that can be mentioned by either attorney that could sway the judge either way. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to split things down the middle and be fair, or if he's only going to give her a portion of the home, or give her just a lump sum. And then if he gives her the lump sum, who's to say she's going to get the full X amount of lump sum that she's supposed to get? Maybe she just may get a small percentage. Maybe whatever her allowance was, I don't know if the judge could do this, or if he may multiply that times the time that she was in the marriage. And like, let's say she probably got like 20,000, multiply that times 15 months, and that's gonna be the lump sum that you leave with. Like, I don't know what the judge may try to do, or if that's something he or she can even do. But who knows? He might give her something. I will be honest and say, if Porsha pulled this lick off, congrats to her, okay, because she was able to pull a lick and pull a scam on a scammer a little bit. Congrats to her. I will say, being married 15 months, it is like, I wouldn't want to get nobody half of shit if I was only married to you for 15 months, okay? And then she mentioned, Simone mentioned something about she could just get an annulment because it was 15 months, and I'm like, oh, really? I don't know. I know one of my questions was, well, if she got an annulment, would she still be, allowed to receive things from the prenup, is what I'm wondering. But it's a whole lot of going on. And the time of when Porsha hopped on YouTube, and started making her money and stuff, and doing vlogs and things, I'm wondering, were things tied up with the house or something to where you feel like you might have to show up financially for that home if need be, if he does not make ends meet on his end? I don't even know if she's able to pay, but I feel like if she could, I would think that she would, and then turn around and probably sue him for that. Because according to the prenup that was being enforced for her to stay there and him to continue to maintain paying the money on the house, I would think that that's still his obligation, even if she did use some of the money from the channel to pay the mortgage or whatnot. That's if she even had the information for real. Because I don't know how much information he even gave her, right? So that's crazy. And can I also say that I just don't think that Simon trusted Porsha from the beginning. And I feel like she knew that, but I also think that the money was more, I think the image, how things look, the optics of things is what made her really lean into that and made her think that she was in love with a person that she really wasn't in love with for real. Because it was really more so about the money. I don't think that man ever trusted her, and I think he definitely moved calculated from the beginning. And that just may be how he is, because he's a person that can't be trusted. So of course he's not gonna trust others around him. For him to go on by that house and use the money from, because that's the other thing that Simone was saying, that his attorney was like, listen, he sold 2 of his own homes, got that money off of those 2 homes he sold, and then used that money as a down payment for the house that they're in now. So how is it that she even gets a portion of that when she didn't even put in on this, and he bought it before they were even married? So I don't know. That might be a compelling argument for the judge to be like, you know what? Actually, you're right. I don't know, but I don't think that he trusts her based on that, and the fact that he bought her that Rolls Royce and it's not in her name. Now, granted, she might still be able to get it, because he did gift it to her, even though it ain't in her name. And the judge may say, hey, she gets that, even though it's in your name. Get her that Range Rover. I don't know. Or he may not see that as a necessity. Do you have another vehicle? Okay, that's not, I don't know. I don't know how the judge finna see this, but I do want to highlight the fact that Simon did not trust her. I think that she knew that. And it's sad. It's just a sad situation to have just gotten yourself into, girl. So we'll see how it's gonna play out. She might end up winning. She might get, a little something. I don't fault her for fighting for something though, because I mean, it is, anybody. Anybody that enter a relationship like that, ain't nobody just gonna be willing to just leave and they know that you worth something. Like somebody gonna be trying to get a little piece of something. Now some people gonna leave and be like, I don't want SHI from you. I don't even want your name. I don't want to have no affiliation. Just get me up out of here. And then some folks gonna see what they can get. And Porsha is gonna see what she can get after 15 months, if that. All right. If that was how long they were married. But y'all let me know if you felt like that was enough time. But in the meantime, I did a lot of talking. I wanted us to hear this little clip from Simone real quick.
Porsha ultimately did not record in her house, even though the court ordered that she could. Here's why. It's because Simon's attorney still said, well, even if you do, we're going to come after you. At the end of the day, corporations like the TV network, they don't want to walk into a lawsuit. They don't want to get a cease and desist. So it's just easier for them and their legal department to tell Porsha, rent a house and record there. And that's what she did. Porsha ultimately did not record in her house.
Porsha, I don't think Porsha rented a home. I think Porsha filmed in her other home that she has. That's what she did. I mean, it only makes sense. I think that's where she went. But according to Simone, you know, she was able to film in their home. I thought that Simon got all of that shit down. Maybe not. Maybe she was able to film because clearly she's able to film now because she's doing the YouTube, but they're still going to plan on coming after her for whatever reason. And then there were just some other details in there about things that she wasn't supposed to do that I think she has done, but not sure about, you know, the legalities of everything, you know. But we'll see. Child, Simon over there fine from the inside of Ice, child. So good luck to the people as they figure out their things. But in the meantime, the last thing I want us to get into is just a quick sneak peek of the next week's episode. And this one is of Angela and that husband, Charles. So let's check it out.
Tell you about Nashville.
All right.
I called you.
I was in Tampa. What happened?
Porsha was upset that I invited Drew.
How you invite someone to Nashville?
Listen, well, I wanted Porsha and Drew to kind of get along. My intentions were good. That's something you would do.
No, I don't do like that.
Oh, gosh.
Damn.
He loves to play devil's advocate. So much so that I look to him to get the opposing side's viewpoint. Like, you know what? Let me just ask my husband what the haters think. He'll tell me fresh off the top of a hater's head. I'm like, Charles, you're supposed to be on my side.
Not you pretty much calling him a hater. And let me tell you something, Angela, right out the gate, that would piss me the fuck off. If every time I'm coming to you about advice or I'm bringing a situation to you and you every single time is seeing the opposing person's side instead of understanding and seeing where the fuck I'm coming from, we gonna have a goddamn problem, okay? Just a little bit. Now, it's okay, but at least let me know that you understand where I'm coming from. I understand that you didn't, you know, mean it, you know, to be ill intentions, but, you know, they may have taken it to the light. It's about how you say shit. Be like, what the hell? I probably would have felt the way if every time, like, you go to your husband just to hear what the haters have to say. Essentially, I feel like you calling your husband a hater. What the fuck? I won't want to be with no hater.
Anyway, Porsha had a dinner party. And so Porsha had Britt talking for her.
You wanted Drew to come, even though Porsha was like, she's not invited.
She's never told me that.
I mean, really? Let Porsha speak for herself. If she got a big mouth, I mean...
Anyway, I was just like, okay, so, Porsha, why did you take that lady's husband?
How did you know she took it?
The streets know she did.
That's the worst person to talk to in the streets.
She's told me to kiss her ass at that point.
Okay, well, you might have been wrong for answering that. It had nothing to do with you.
Oh, okay. Stay on this Porsha wagon. You buckled up?
I don't wear belt.
Oh, well, you need to. Anyway.
I'm screaming, especially knowing Porsha said that she could fuck your husband. Bitch, I'm hollering because he damn sure taking her side right now.
I hear Porsha, Britt, Kelly, and Shamia talking about you. How you are messing with the girl in New York. Porsha. Wait, we still on the Porsha train? Okay.
Look. If y'all can see Charles did his head not like here they go, you know, as far as when she said messing with a girl in New York. And he's like, it's really given to me like, see, I told you leave it to the streets. The streets gonna tell you every time.
Okay, but
it don't
let me
matter.
say what else you have to say about you. Like, you're just so easy to let me tell you about.
Oh, I'm mad I didn't get his
All right.
reaction. Oh, it cut off right when it was about to get his reaction. When she talked about, oh, let me tell you what she said about you. Like, you so easy to fuck. Baby, if his response is, maybe I am easy to fuck. Angela, baby, you need to file for your divorce probably this summer, okay? Really right now, actually, okay? But you need to be preparing, getting it together, organizing it, all right? But child, that's crazy. I just would be tired. I mean, don't be giving me a hard time. Every time we talk, that's annoying as hell, okay? It definitely does not display the love. Where's the love? Okay, when you do that, Charles, I want you to know it does not look well. It doesn't translate well, especially on television. That may be your personality, and at times it can be very funny. But overall, like, we gonna get tired of seeing it, and we just feel like you don't really care for your wife like that. And if you don't, then why is you with her? Like, where's the love at? Okay, but that's all I got. Y'all leave your thoughts and comments down below on things that we discussed on today. Of course, I'm Jami, that's me. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, whatever, at Jami, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
I preach to the choir, stand with my feet to the fire, give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I can face the rim, putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film.